Before we start, let me make one thing clear. This video is not about bashing women. In fact, quite the opposite. Female psychology is complex, and sometimes what comes out of her mouth isn't what's actually going on in her heart. Every man who wants stronger relationships, whether romantic, social, or even professional, needs to understand these subtle communication patterns. So, buckle up. Grab a pen if you have to, because I'm about to reveal the 7 most common lies women tell men and the hidden truth behind each one. And trust me, once you know these, you'll start noticing them everywhere. Lie number 1, I'm fine. This is the number one lie men hear, and it's almost a running joke at this point. When a woman says, I'm fine, 99% of the time, she is absolutely not fine. But why do women say this instead of just admitting how they feel? Here's where psychology comes in. Reason number 1, women often test emotional safety. By saying, I'm fine, she's not lying out of malice. She's protecting herself. She wants to see if you care enough to notice that something is wrong. Reason number 2, avoiding conflict. Sometimes a woman doesn't want to explode or cause drama in the moment. So she chooses the I'm fine mask to hold back her emotions until she feels safe to open up. Reason number 3, indirect communication. Female psychology often leans towards subtle hints instead of blunt words. While men usually prefer direct statements, women sometimes expect you to read between the lines. So, what does I'm fine really mean? It often translates to, I'm hurt, but I don't know how to tell you. I want you to show me you care enough to ask again. I don't feel understood right now. How should a man respond? Instead of just saying okay and walking away, which is what most men do, you need to lean in with empathy. Try something like, I hear you, but I don't believe you're actually fine. Talk to me. I want to understand. When you do this, 2 powerful things happen. She feels emotionally safe. She respects you for not brushing her off like every other guy. And here's the kicker. Once you learn to decode I'm fine, you'll unlock a whole new level of connection with women. Lie number 2, I don't care. Now, fellas, this one is brutal. A woman says, I don't care, you decide. Sounds easy, right? Freedom of choice. You pick the restaurant, the movie, or the plan. But then, 10 minutes later, she's upset. Why? Here's the psychology behind it. Reason number 1, she wants you to lead. Women often admire a man who can take charge confidently. When she says, I don't care, she might really mean, I want to see if you're decisive enough to take the lead. Reason number 2, she wants to be considered. Even if she says she doesn't care, she usually has preferences. Deep down, she wants to feel that you factored her feelings into the decision, even if she didn't say them out loud. Reason number 3, testing compatibility. Sometimes I don't care is really, let's see if you actually know me. If you've been dating her for months and you pick something she hates, she'll feel like you're not paying attention. What does I don't care really mean? It often means, I want you to take charge, but also consider me. I don't want to look difficult, but I still have expectations. I want to see if you understand me without me spelling it out. How should a man respond? Instead of blindly choosing or freezing up, balance leadership with consideration. Say something like, say something. Okay, let's do sushi tonight. I know you liked that spot last time. This shows confidence, but also proves you're tuned in to her likes and dislikes. That combination? Powerful. It makes her feel seen and led, which is exactly what most women secretly want. Transition. Now, if that one didn't trip you up before, this next lie definitely has. Because it's the one women use when they want to look strong, even when they're not feeling it inside. Lie number 3, I don't need a man. This one comes straight from modern society. You've heard it 1,000 times. I don't need a man. I'm independent. I've got my own money, my own career. And listen, sometimes that's absolutely true. Many women are independent. But here's the hidden truth. Independence doesn't erase emotional needs. Psychology behind this lie, defense mechanism. Often when women say, I don't need a man, it's not about rejecting men. It's about protecting themselves from disappointment. If she's been hurt before, claiming she doesn't need anyone makes her feel safe. Social image. Society praises independence, especially for women. So sometimes saying, I don't need a man, is more about maintaining a strong image than about what she truly feels inside. Hidden vulnerability. Here's the paradox: the louder she says, I don't need a man, the more she may actually want connection, respect, and love. What does it really mean? I don't want to get hurt again. I want a man, but only if he adds value, not stress. I want to be chosen, not controlled. How should a man respond? Don't argue with her, don't get defensive. Instead, embody the type of man she would want even if she doesn't need him. Be stable, confident, and purpose driven. Here's the secret: women may not need a man for survival, but they still deeply desire a man for emotional connection, respect, intimacy, and growth. The difference between need and want is huge. She may not need you, but she may deeply want you. Transition. All right, we've covered the I'm fine, the I don't care, and the I don't need a man. But now let's move to one of the most dangerous little lies women tell. It's short, it's sweet, and it can lead to massive misunderstandings if you're not paying attention. Lie number 4: nothing's wrong. This one is sneaky. She's clearly upset. Her tone, her energy, her silence are screaming. But when you ask, she says, nothing's wrong. Why? Psychological reasons. Avoiding rejection. Women often fear that their emotions will be dismissed. So instead of opening up and risking rejection, they shut down with nothing's wrong. Testing your awareness. Sometimes it's a subtle test. Do you notice something's wrong without me having to spell it out? Struggle with expression. Many women feel deeply but don't always know how to put those feelings into words. Saying nothing's wrong buys her time until she figures out how to express herself. What does nothing's wrong really mean? Something is wrong, but I don't feel safe saying it yet. I want you to care enough to gently push me to open up. I don't trust that you'll handle my emotions well. How should a man respond? Here's where most men mess up. They take her words literally and move on. Big mistake. Instead, stay calm and grounded. Say, I can tell something's bothering you. I'm here when you're ready to talk. This gives her space without pressure, but it also proves you're not blind to her emotions. That balance of patience and awareness is magnetic. Transition. We're halfway through and you're already starting to see the patterns. Women's lies are rarely about manipulation. They're about protection, testing, and connection. But the next lie on this list, this one stings the most because it comes up when attraction and commitment are on the line. Lie number 5. It's not about the money. This one hits a lot of men hard. A woman might say, it's not about the money. I don't care how much you make. And technically, she's not lying. But psychology tells us there's much more behind these words. Here's the truth. It's not about raw cash. She's not saying you need to be a millionaire. What she really cares about is your direction in life. Are you ambitious? Do you have purpose? Are you striving for more? Security matters. Women are biologically wired to value stability and security. It's part of female psychology that's rooted in survival. So when she says it's not about the money, she usually means, I don't care how rich you are, but I do care about your stability and drive. Symbol of responsibility. Money itself isn't the issue, it's what it represents. Responsibility, discipline, future planning. A man who handles money well often signals he can handle life well. What does it's not about the money really mean? I don't need you to buy me a mansion, but I need to know you can provide some form of security. I don't care about riches, but I do care about stability and ambition. Show me direction, not excuses. How should a man respond? Don't take it as an attack on your wallet. Instead, show her that you're building, growing, and improving, even if you're not rich. A woman can respect a man who's on the path much more than one who's standing still. Transition. Now, the next lie is subtle. It's not about money, not about emotions. It's about attraction. And if you don't decode this one correctly, you might end up thinking everything's fine when in reality, the connection is slipping away. Lie number 6. We're just friends. This one is complicated. Sometimes it's true, and sometimes it's a smokescreen. When a woman says, "We're just friends," psychology says you need to pay attention not just to her words, but to her actions. Why women say this: to avoid conflict. She doesn't want to trigger your jealousy or insecurity. By calling him just a friend, she hopes to smooth things over, to keep options open. Sometimes just friends means I'm keeping this guy in the background just in case. It's not always intentional manipulation, it's often subconscious psychology. To test your confidence. Believe it or not, sometimes she says it to see how you'll react. Will you spiral into insecurity? Or will you remain calm and secure in yourself? What does "we're just friends" really mean? I enjoy this connection, but I don't want you to overreact. I want to see if you trust me. I don't want to admit how much this other guy actually means. How should a man respond? Here's the key. Don't get overly jealous, but don't ignore red flags either. Stay calm, observe her behavior, and look for consistency. If she treats him like just a friend, fine. But if she invests more energy into him than into you, that's your answer. Confidence is your weapon here. Women respect a man who doesn't lose control but also doesn't tolerate disrespect. Transition. And now we come to the final lie, the one that can break relationships, confuse men, and create the biggest misunderstandings of all. It's the lie that often shows up when she's pulling away or when she wants out. Lie number 7. I love you, but this one hurts the most. When a woman says, "I love you, but," it can shake a man to his core. Why? Because love is supposed to be unconditional, right? So why the but? Psychological truth: love versus readiness. She may actually feel love, but emotions aren't the same as commitment. Sometimes she loves you, but doesn't see a long term future. Love versus fear. She may love you, but fears losing herself in the relationship. She may love you, but past trauma makes her hesitant to go all in. Love versus standards. Of She may love you emotionally, but if certain needs, respect, security, direction aren't met, her psychology pushes her to step back. What does "I love you, but" really mean? I feel something for you, but I'm not fully invested. I'm attached, but I'm not ready for your version of the future. I care, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my needs for this love. How should a man respond? With strength and clarity. Don't beg, don't chase. Instead, recognize that love without alignment doesn't build lasting relationships. Respect her words, but also respect yourself enough to know when to walk away. Here's the reality. A woman may say she loves you, but if her actions don't align, the smartest move you can make is to step back and protect your own self-worth. Transition to conclusion. So there you have it. 7 lies women tell men and what they actually mean. But here's the part most men miss. These lies aren't always about manipulation. They're signals. They're clues. They're windows into her psychology. And the man who learns to decode them without anger, without insecurity, becomes unstoppable in relationships. Conclusion. Decoding lies. Unlocking female psychology. All right, we've broken down 7 of the most common lies women tell men and uncovered the truth behind each one. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. The point of this video isn't to make you suspicious of women. It's not about playing detective in your relationship or assuming she's always hiding something. No, this is about awareness, the reality of female psychology. Most of these so-called lies aren't malicious. They're protective. They're emotional shields. They're indirect ways of saying something she's afraid to say outright. When she says, "I'm fine," she's often testing if you can sense her emotions. When she says, "I don't care," she's asking if you can lead with confidence. When she says, "I don't need a man," she's revealing her fear of being let down. When she says, "Nothing's wrong," she's showing you she doesn't feel safe enough to open up yet. When she says, "It's not about the money," she's telling you it's about ambition and stability. When she says, "We're just friends," she's balancing truth, fear, and maybe even testing your security. And when she says, "I love you," but she's drawing the line between emotion and reality. Every one of these lies is actually a signal, and when you, as a man, learn to read those signals, not with paranoia, but with emotional intelligence, you become the kind of man women respect, trust, and admire. The man who understands psychology wins. Think about it. Most men out there get frustrated when they hear these phrases. They either ignore them, get defensive, or worse, react emotionally. That's why relationships crumble. But not you, not anymore. Now you understand the deeper meaning. You can respond with calm strength, with clarity, with patience, and that's rare. That's powerful. Because here's the truth. Women don't want a man who panics every time she says, I'm fine. They don't want a man who argues every time she says, we're just friends. They don't want a man who gets insecure when she says, I don't need a man. They want a man who listens, who observes, who leads with certainty, and who doesn't lose his balance just because emotions are running high. That's the man who earns trust. That's the man who earns respect. That's the man women don't want to lose. What this means for you. So, what do you do with this knowledge? Stop taking words at face value. Pay attention to her tone, her body language, her actions. Psychology is about patterns, not just phrases. Lead with calm strength. Women respect a man who doesn't get rattled. When she says one of these lies, stay grounded and respond with clarity. Create emotional safety. If she feels she can express herself without judgment, those lies will eventually fade. She'll start telling you the truth because she knows you can handle it. Don't chase, attract. If her words and actions don't align, don't beg for honesty. Step back. Protect your self-respect. That's the ultimate test of strength. Final motivation. Listen carefully. At the end of the day, female psychology isn't about tricking men. It's about survival, emotion, and communication. Women say things in ways that protect them. But if you're wise, you'll see through the words to the heart. And when you do, you'll stop getting confused. You'll stop falling for half-truths. You'll stop wasting energy on arguments that go nowhere. Instead, you'll connect deeper, build stronger relationships, and attract women who genuinely value you. Because here's the ultimate truth. Women may tell lies with their words, but they always tell the truth with their actions. Learn to read both, and you'll never be lost again. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into relationships, psychology, and personal growth. And let me know in the comments, which of these 7 lies have you heard the most, and how did you handle it? This is helping men like you understand women better and live stronger, more confident lives. Until next time, remember, stay strong, stay smart, and never stop learning.